We needed it more than you. Kyle's words cut through the lake house living room like a knife. He stood there, smug, unbothered, like he hadn't just drained $120,000 from my bank account while I slept under the same roof. I'm Rebecca Mitchell. I'm 34 years old and I built my boutique from nothing. That money represented 5 years of 18-hour days, missed vacations, and ramen dinners. It was my second location, my expansion, my future, and my own brother-in-law had stolen it all. But here's what Kyle didn't know. I don't forgive, and I definitely don't forget. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Then you won't mind what's coming next." 2 hours later, the police kicked down the door. Have you ever been betrayed by your own blood? Share your story in the comments. And if you believe karma always catches up, hit that like button and subscribe. Growing up in Portland, I was always the responsible one. My parents ran a modest hardware store, working long hours to keep us afloat. While my younger sister, Allison, chased parties and popularity through high school, I was saving every dollar from my summer jobs. After college, I spent 3 grueling years at a corporate retail chain, learning the business inside and out. Then I took the leap. I launched Mitchell Designs, a boutique focused on sustainable, locally made clothing. I quit my stable job with just $5,000 in savings and a dream that kept me up at night. Those first 2 years nearly destroyed me. I worked 18-hour days, ate ramen for dinner, and reinvested every single penny. I lived in a studio apartment with secondhand furniture so my business could survive. Then tragedy struck. A drunk driver ran a red light and killed both our parents in an instant. The grief was unbearable. I threw myself into work because it was the only thing that made sense. Allison, on the other hand, spiraled. She dropped out of college and drifted through a series of dead-end jobs. When the estate finally settled, we each inherited $75,000. I immediately invested mine into expanding the store. Allison? She met Kyle at a casino 6 months later and married him in a courthouse ceremony. I hated him from day one. Kyle was a smooth talker with slicked back hair, a too flashy watch, and a condescending smile that made my skin crawl. Your sister's little shop is cute, he'd sneered at their wedding reception. But real money's in investments, Rebecca. You should talk to me sometime. Kyle dominated every conversation, every room, every decision. And Allison? She changed. She grew quieter, meeker, always checking his reaction before she spoke. She stopped calling me. When I did see her at family gatherings, she smiled with her mouth but never her eyes. I watched my vibrant, wild little sister fade into someone I barely recognized. The lake house had been in our family for generations, a sprawling, creaky old place on the water where we'd spent every summer as kids. We decided to have a family reunion there, and I'd agreed to come despite my reservations. I'd just secured the lease for my second boutique location. After 5 years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice, Mitchell Designs was finally expanding. I had $120,000 sitting in my business account, every penny earmarked for inventory, renovations, and the grand opening. I had no idea the people I called family were already plotting to take it all. I arrived on a Friday afternoon, my heart light with hope. My cousin Emma met me at the dock with a hug, but her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Allison and Kyle got here early, she whispered. Just be ready. Through the screen door, I could already hear Kyle's booming voice talking about some real estate flip that would double anyone's money in 6 months. Allison greeted me with a quick hug. "Hey, Becca," she said, using my childhood nickname. But her eyes kept darting nervously toward the kitchen where Kyle was holding court. "The entrepreneur arrives," Kyle announced when I walked in, raising his whiskey glass in mock salute. "Still selling enough dresses to keep the lights on?" I forced a smile. "Actually, we're expanding. I just signed a lease for a second location downtown." He scoffed. "In this economy? Bold move. I should have left right then." That night, I went upstairs to check some emails before dinner. The moment I walked into my room, something felt wrong. Laptop had been moved. The charging cord was plugged into a different port than I'd left it. Just slightly off, but enough. My stomach dropped. I opened it and immediately checked the browser history. Clean. But then I saw it. An email notification. New login attempt failed. Unrecognized device. Someone had tried to access my bank account within the past hour. While I'd been downstairs helping prep dinner, I immediately changed every password, enabled two-factor authentication, and locked my laptop in my suitcase. But the knot in my stomach wouldn't go away. The next morning, I woke up to my phone buzzing violently on the nightstand. It was Claire, my business partner. "Rebecca, the vendor payment bounced," she said, panic rising in her voice. "The bank says insufficient funds." My hands started shaking. "That's impossible. I opened my banking app. The screen loaded, and my entire world collapsed. Checking. $0 savings, $0 business account, over $120,000, gone. Transferred overnight to an unknown account. This wasn't a glitch. This wasn't a random hack. This was someone in this house. Someone who knew exactly what they were doing. And Kyle was downstairs sipping coffee like nothing had happened. My face must have been ghost white when I walked into the kitchen. Every conversation stopped mid-sentence. "My money's gone," I said, my voice hollow. "All of it." Uncle Robert stood up immediately. "What do you mean, gone?" I held up my phone with trembling hands. "Over $120,000, drained overnight, transferred. To an account I don't recognize." Gasps, whispers, chairs scraping. Emma rushed to my side. Only two people stayed silent. Allison staring into her coffee cup, and Kyle, arms crossed, face completely unreadable. "Have you called the bank?" Emma whispered. "I'm calling them right now, on speaker." The customer service rep's voice was calm and clinical. "Yes, Ms. Mitchell, several transfers occurred between 11:42 p.m. and 4:15 a.m. from a recognized device at your current location. Your password and security questions were entered correctly." A chill swept through the room. This wasn't just fraud. This was intimate, premeditated betrayal. Someone had used my laptop, my network, my own access. I turned to Kyle. "You were near my laptop yesterday. Were you in my room?" Allison jumped to his defense immediately. "Are you seriously accusing my husband?" Kyle smiled slowly. "Your sister's paranoid, Allie. Maybe your business partner mishandled the funds." "Then show us your bank statements," I challenged, "if you're so financially secure." His smirk twitched. "Just enough. I don't have to prove anything to you." "Really?" I stepped forward. "Because if you didn't do it, you'd be screaming louder than anyone in this room right now." Allison's hands were trembling. She wouldn't look at me. Kyle tightened, his grip on her waist like a leash, and then he said it. Cold, smug, unforgivable. "We needed it more than you." The room erupted. Uncle Robert shouted. Emma gasped. Aunt Patricia started crying. I didn't. I was already reaching for my phone. "Then you won't mind what's coming next," I said, my voice like steel. The second I grabbed my phone, Kyle lunged. "You're not calling the police," he barked, reaching for my wrist. Uncle Robert stepped between us. "Back off, Kyle. Now." Emma pulled me behind her. Allison flinched, not just scared, but terrified. "Allison," I said gently, "what's really going on?" She opened her mouth, but Kyle cut her off. "We're done here. Get your bags, Allison. We're leaving." "You're not going anywhere until I get every cent back," I snapped. "Or I swear I'll have you arrested before you hit the driveway." Kyle laughed. "Good luck. That money's gone. Moved, buried. You'll never find it." That's when the loud bang rocked the house. The front door flew open. "Police! Everyone stay where you are!" Two uniformed officers entered, followed by a woman in plain clothes flashing her badge. "Rebecca Mitchell?" she asked. I nodded, heart pounding. "I'm Detective Harmon with Portland PD. We received a fraud alert linked to your accounts and some very concerning evidence from your bank's cybersecurity team." Kyle went pale. "This is a misunderstanding. We have account transfers, device IDs, timestamps," she said calmly. "And photos, Mr. Henderson." His mouth fell open. I pulled out my phone. After a hacking attempt last year, I installed security software. It takes photos during login attempts and tracks all device activity. I handed it to Detective Harmon. You'll find clear images of Kyle using my laptop, with timestamps, IP matches, everything you need. Kyle's mask finally slipped. You set me up. No, I said calmly. I protected myself. There's a difference. As the officers cuffed him, he shouted at Allison, "You think you're safe? You're nothing without me." She stepped forward, voice shaking but strong. I was nothing to you. Without you, I can finally be myself again. Detective Harmon turned to me. With this much evidence, you'll likely recover most of the stolen funds. And more importantly, he won't hurt anyone else. For the first time in days, I let myself exhale. It wasn't over. 1 month later, I stood in the soft morning light of my second boutique location. Open, thriving, safe. Mitchell Designs had survived. Not because I was lucky, but because I was prepared. Because I trusted my gut. And because I refused to let betrayal define me. The bank recovered 97% of the stolen funds. Fraud protection covered the rest. But the money was never the biggest victory. The biggest victory was Allison. She moved in with me, filed for divorce, and re-enrolled in school. The shadows under her eyes have started to fade. She laughs again. She bakes again. She's healing. Last night, while we were chopping vegetables like we used to with Mom, she said something I'll never forget. You were brave for protecting what you built, Becca. I want to be brave enough to rebuild myself. And she is. Kyle pled guilty to fraud, identity theft, and coercion. He'll be in prison for a long time. But his real power ended the day Allison stood up and said, I'm done being afraid. Last weekend, we returned to the lake house, not for a reunion, but for a fresh start. The whole family pitched in to repaint, repair, and reclaim the space that had almost broken us, and we made new rules. Real family protects. Real family doesn't manipulate. If you've ever had to cut out toxic people to protect what you love, I see you. Drop a comment if you've ever had to say, enough. And if you're still gathering the courage, borrow some of mine, because blood doesn't entitle anyone to break you. Like and subscribe if this story resonated with you. And remember, karma always catches up.